On March 29th, we are going to have a solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees. And to me, this eclipse very much is sparking the massive beginning of the age of Neptune in Aries, because honestly, guys, if you have not been up on the astrological weather, we are having our massive first historic ingress of Neptune in Aries literally the next morning after this solar eclipse profects, occurs. All of the wonderful and powerful eclipse energy that will be blasting into our lives, into the house topic that Aries is, we're also going to have that be a very powerful birthing moment for what the Neptunian might already begin to reveal to you during its first ingress that following day. We are also in the middle of heavy retrogrades as well, as many of you know. Now, I haven't made a video on the Mercury retrograde, honestly, because I talked about it so much in the Venus retrograde video I made about a couple of weeks ago. I believe I talked about it in the video on Neptune and Aries, generally speaking. I think I put that one out last week. And this is also an eclipse of retrogrades, guys. So honestly, what is being asked of us, what is being born during this eclipse, what is going to be, I don't want to say revealed, but what is going to be kind of brought into our consciousness is very much, I believe, also tied to the Mercury retrograde activity, whatever stories are playing out in these early degrees of Aries. And honestly, a little bit of the Venus retrograde, because we are very much in the thick of a lot of review involving the Venusian as well. And we have to consider, even though Venus has been in Pisces, during this eclipse, Venus will be retrograde in Pisces, but Venus was retrograde. It started in those early degrees of Aries. So we have played out, we have experienced some things, some events, some parts of our life in that Aries part of your life, in your birth chart, whatever house that is. We have experienced a Venus story there. Okay. And Mercury will be at 0 degrees at the time of 0 degrees Aries at the time of this eclipse. Okay. So for me, this is a very retrograde eclipse. This is also a portal opening to the era of Neptune in Aries. Okay. Now, of course, we all know, or maybe if you don't know, eclipses to me are big endings and big beginnings. And this Aries eclipse, this solar eclipse, is the last of 2 other solar eclipses that we've had in Aries over the last 2.5 years. And what's interesting, when I was doing my research on this, Aries has not seen a lunar eclipse all these years. They have only been solar eclipses, which means that we are focusing on the Aries part of our life for the last 2.5 years being very much involving new moon type of energy, because that's what solar eclipses are. They are very powerful new moons, where in my world, new moons are always birthings, they are seedings, they are moments and events for, they are lunar events for intention setting, but things that are asking to be born, right? They are initiatory. They are moments of saying like, oh my God, like there is something hitting me in this part of my life. There is something this transit is trying to ask of me. And I need to very much be open to the message, okay, on what is being asked to be born here. What is being asked for me to end something? Is there something I need to end in order for some new intention and seeds to be planted? Now, eclipses are different because, you know, they're not your average new moon, obviously. They are portals. They are portals of big endings and big beginnings. You know, so today we're going to talk about this last solar eclipse in Aries. I want to go down kind of some of my, you know, meditations and contemplations around the retrograde activity that this is very much involved in. I want to talk about this very much being a portal to Neptune in Aries, because this is the first time Neptune has seen Aries in well over 140 years. I believe it's like 150 something years. The last time Neptune was in Aries, like I said in my Neptune and Aries video, was at the beginning of the Civil War. Okay, so on the world stage, we're seeing a lot of rhymes of political unrest and all the things I kind of blathered on about in my Neptune and Aries video, which did trigger some people because, you know, talking about world events can be very politically dividing. And as an astrologer, you do your best to not get involved on one side or the other. But I think in this day and age, when we're dealing with such heavy Aryan energy, to be quite honest with you, we're dealing with the realm of Aries. We're dealing with Neptune, a planet of honestly, like, very much expansive, significations involving belief. Neptune is definitely a planet of belief. We have to trust in the unknown, and Neptune very much brings us into a dimension of, like, this is very ethereal stuff. Neptune blurs the lines of reality and delusion and illusion, okay? But also it's very inspiring and creative. So no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, for example, like I was saying in my other video, everybody has their version and vision. That's a key word, vision of what the future should look like, or what their belief systems and what they want to take action on should look like. And when you have Neptune in a fire sign like Aries, we're talking about initiating, taking action, okay? So yeah, when we talk about the new portal of what this eclipse can be birthing, politically speaking, or awakenings is another big word I'll probably use today, because awakening is definitely what the collective is seeing right now in many ways. And again, I'm not going to dive into anything too specific today with world events and stuff like that, because that'll be honestly for another video, including when I do one on Saturn in Aries, because we are seeing a lot of structures being torn down, but we're also seeing a lot of uprise and awakening around certain political things. Okay. Now, we are in an age of fire and air, and this eclipse, I think, is going to be birthing something very massive in the consciousness of all people, and of course in the Aries part of your life. So if you're interested in hearing any more of my mundane stuff and things I talked about, maybe a little bit more collectively speaking, go check out the Neptune and Aries video I did. And I kind of very much start tiptoeing around how I'm viewing the rise of kind of authority in many ways around the world, how we're seeing kind of rhymes of history. And of course, as an astrologer, I will talk about this stuff as time goes on, as I see fit. But to be honest, I want to really focus this video on your life, okay? Because I also want to briefly touch on Chiron, and that's something I have not talked about in my recent videos while discussing Aries, because last year we had the last solar eclipse in Aries was very much centered, it was very close to Chiron, okay? And Chiron, for all of us in Aries, has been very much forcing us to address some wound in the Aries part of our life that needs healing, and that's different for everybody. I mean, I can't tell you in how many readings I've done where Chiron becomes a massive focus for at least 20 minutes. Not every reading, but Chiron in Aries has been very, very activating for a lot of us guys. And I think we're all trying to learn what that Chiron wound has meant for us since 2017 or 18, I believe. That's when Chiron got into Aries. And we have only a couple more years of Chiron in Aries. So this eclipse from last year, I think there was a powerful awakening involving Chiron. I think we all realized there's a part of our life that is kind of wounded in Aries. And that solar eclipse last year, I feel, highlighted that wound. And it took, and a lot of us, I believe, took action on something involving the Chiron wound that maybe has brought us to this point in time right now, where we are maybe addressing, how can we actually embark forward and truly evolve what was awakened in us last year. Okay, maybe I'll share some examples of my life as well, as I get through this video further. And then lastly, of course, I want to touch on the first decan of Aries. I've been talking about the decans here, guys. It's a large part of my work. And honestly, I think I've exhausted my words on the first decan of Aries over the last couple of weeks, but we're going to talk about it because this decan is ruled by Mars and the Tower card in the tarot, because the tarot, many of you who follow me, know how I like to work with tarot and how the tarot symbolism has always been very associated with the decans. So the Tower rules Mars as far as Decan rulership is concerned. And then the Two of Wands is the minor arcana card that rules this Decan. So many of you who have been following me know that I've been very much extensively talking about this first Decan, because this is where the Venus and Mercury retrograde began their retrograde cycle. This is where Neptune will be entering for the first time in over 100 and something years. And this is also where this eclipse is going down. Okay, so this is why that Tower energy is very much alive and well in the collective. In our life, this is a further awakening, okay? This portal into the Neptune and Aries that we also are very much going to experience. And then, of course, how this very much is a massive beginning into a new age of our entire life, to be honest, because this Aries, guys, the first degrees of Aries with Neptune and Saturn, they are going to also, they're going to be activating Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini for us too. So in every reading I do, guys, I focus on Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, that is coming, and how they are both going to be sextiling the first couple of degrees of Aries for years to come. So this is why those first degrees of Aries are so important in your own life. Okay, knowing what is going on in the Aries story for you. Because Pluto and Uranus are going to be feeding by sextile the tip of the triangle of what Aries is from those two zodiac signs, the age of fire and air. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on, guys. We really are entering a massive new age here, a portal into the Neptune and Aries age and the age of fire and air. So before I begin, or before I go any further, rather, if you are new to the channel and you are enjoying this video thus far, it would mean a lot to me if you could consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, hitting that notification bell, because all of that really tickles the algorithm. It really helps my channel further grow. It really helps my passion and love of astrology to get to more people out there, and I couldn't be more blessed at the growth of the channel that we have been seeing here over the last couple of months. So, you know, if you're enjoying the video thus far, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. And yeah, guys, description box down below if you would like to learn anything else about me, if you would like to visit my website to learn more about me, to book a 90-minute Zoom reading with me. And yeah, I have other links down there for other things if you'd like, including like a Patreon and all that other fun stuff. Yeah, guys, but you know, this is a very retrograde eclipse. This is a portal opening to the era of Neptune and Aries, like I said. Mercury retrograde will be at 0 degrees when this eclipse occurs. To me, this is an awakening after reviews and reveals, not really an event, in my opinion. I don't necessarily think a massive event will occur. I think this, in the collective, will be a very awakening moment. We might see some more protest. We might see some more stuff that goes against Doge or Doge. I don't know how you even say it. Doge, is that right? But yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to wake up around the world. I mean, and not even just America, guys. And I know I promised I wasn't going to get into world stuff, but I mean, around the world, there's a lot of change happening. There's a lot of, you know, people trying to gain their power back, you know? Like, I think there were massive protests in Serbia. I believe there were massive protests somewhere in Hungary, you know? So a lot of people are starting to fight, and that's very Aries, of course, as we all know. But to me, this is more of an awakening, honestly, than like, this is more of like an awakening and like, okay, now what do we do next? What are the plans we need to do? What are the plans? What are your plans, right? What is Aries for you? Like, tell me in the comments, like, what part of your life, what house topic is Aries? Okay, because we're going to have this final eclipse moment. I believe it's going to be more of an awakening than a literal event. For some of you, it might be a literal event. I mean, if you have any planets or any really significant placements in the early degrees of Aries, then there could be an actual event that occurs. But I think this is going to be more consciousness driven. I think this is going to be more Neptunian. This is going to be more like, oh my God, this spiritual awakening is going to happen. Like the beginning of it. You know, we're going to start feeling this beginning of like, oh my God, like I think it's really time for me to put my soul and my spirit and my belief in something here, like in full force, you know? And then as the future unfolds with Pluto and Uranus sextiling Neptune in Aries. And then, of course, Saturn, when it gets there, end of May. These Aries evolutions that maybe this eclipse begins to birth will very much begin to take shape at a later date. But for some of us, we may have a massive event. There may be something very powerful that occurs in a very physical sense. But I personally think this is awakening of plans, visions, things we need to heal, because Chiron, okay? I think Chiron, we underestimate Chiron. I don't think many of us pay attention to the Chiron and Aries part of your life. And if you're, brave enough or, open enough to share your Chiron and Aries wounds or stories, drop them in the comments down below. Maybe some other people have some advice for you, or maybe there's some support that other commenters could give you, if you share your Chiron stuff. But yeah, I do think that there's things that we're going to want to take more further action on that could be very healing for the Chiron wound, that Aries has been presenting us since 2017. And we honestly have until 2027, I believe, before Chiron moves on to Taurus. But I think, this can also be a massive moment for course correcting as well. Something going on in Aries for you, So whatever the Aries story has been for you, and again, wherever Aries is in your birth chart, this is a place in your life, no matter what the house topic theme of life it is, where we've always maybe wanted to be the initiator there, initiating things there. We've always wanted to be the person maybe that wanted to do things in a freedom-seeking way. We might have always wanted to be very independent there. So this is a moment, and this eclipse, I think, is going to be that portal opening, just as the Mercury retrograde leaves to go back into Pisces, where, we're going to want to start planning and aggressively taking action on some visions and plans that we're, trying to figure out. Whether this has to do with Chiron or not, honestly, because this moment of Aries for all of us is action-oriented, independence, freedom, okay? Finally awakening to something there that maybe we always knew, needed to start taking further action on. Or maybe this is the awakening of like, okay, I need to get serious on a decision here, on something that's hitting my consciousness, and now what do we do to start taking action on it, Like in the collective, I think a lot of people who might have voted for Donald Trump, they're starting to regret that. Okay. And that's just not me, like, I don't know, like being biased or something that people accuse me of sometimes when I just very delicately bring up things going on in the world. But just look around. There's a lot of people suffering at the hand of some of the things that are going on. And, whether you like that or not, it's just what it is. That is the truth. So a lot of people, I think, are waking up to some of that. And I think that they are realizing like, okay, I think we need to mobilize and organize. We need to take action on some of this stuff that we did not sign up for, So there's a lot of that. And just look around on the internet. It's happening. There's a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump that are very much like regretting that because they didn't know that they were going to lose their job. They didn't know that things were going to get taken away from them. They didn't know that whatever these tariffs are going to do will affect their lives in the way it will affect their lives. Now, so this to me is very much planning oriented for many situations, because again, that first decan is ruled by the Two of Wands, guys, and the Two of Wands in the tarot is all about setting your sights on something you wish to conquer, something you wish to achieve at a later date. This is all about making plans, planning for your future in the Aries part of your life, planning for mobilizing protest, right? Or for in collective matters, planning to, again, if you're a world leader with bad intentions, no matter what leader around the world, this is planning on how do I control these people? How do I become maybe more authoritarian? Is becoming authoritarian my only choice now? Or I will lose power, So again, Aries energy, Aries ruled by the Emperor as well. So again, when we deal with shadow territory of what some of this symbolism can mean, the Emperor energy will be alive and well for many leaders, but also this very powerful Tower energy that a lot of people are also going to be embodying. Because the Decan that rules, the first decan is ruled by Mars. So these the tower moments that will occur, this collapse and rise, also very much tied to, again, Pluto and Aquarius when those trines start hitting. Okay. So again, the people are going to wake up. People are going to realize, wow, like there's also going to be a collective movement here just as much as there could be an authoritarian one. And once again, I'm not going down that road in this video, but again, this eclipse is going to awaken a lot of things. Okay. And there's a lot of different people from all sides of the aisle that are going to be experiencing this eclipse differently. World leaders are going to be experiencing, like, for example, the GOP in America will be experiencing this solar eclipse differently than, people that on the ground, the everyday people. And then in our own life, how is this going to be affecting you? Where's Pluto and Aquarius for you? Because Pluto and Aquarius, which is already in its zodiac, it's locked in future zodiac sign, because Uranus obviously is not in Gemini yet, which will then provide sextiles to Aries. But right now, Pluto will be providing those sextiles to the early degrees of Aries, to this solar eclipse, to Neptune and Aries when it enters. Okay, so the Pluto part of your life, the Aquarius part of your life, will also be very charged. It will be affected by this awakening, this birthing, this new vision of something you may need to start putting into action. This initiating planning phase that will shatter probably something in a very powerful way. The Tower is no joke, guys. And I've been saying this for weeks. The Tower card in the tarot is all about collapsing events that can go down, that very much are moments for radical change and awakening. So we're dealing very much with energies in play here with this first decan of Aries, that this solar eclipse is going to very much allow us to see things very clearly. And then Neptune ingresses and provides us a whole new spiritual dimension of how we can actually, take those spiritual steps. Okay. Because this is going to be a spiritual experience as well. This is going to be hitting all of us in a deeply, deeply profound place within our spirit and our soul. That is why so many people on the world stage are so emotional and getting crazier, honestly, and including the people that are going to start maybe really fighting back. Okay, this is coming from a deep spiritual place, a deep emotional place. Even though Neptune is not really an emotional planet or something like that, but we're going to have a lot of, we have Jupiter going into Cancer, okay, starting in the summer. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of emotion, I believe, in many parts of our lives, which are going to have, I think, really great results, to be honest. I think Jupiter in Cancer, not to go off track, will be actually a really beautiful transit for a lot of us in the Cancer part of your life, especially after the Mars retrograde that we had all winter in Cancer. So I think Jupiter will Jupiter will provide a lot of deep healing and understanding, for a lot of us. But again, I don't want to go too far off, because we are dealing with the ending and a new beginning of a new era of time. So the ending of an old era of time is now very much going to be activated in a new massive moment. We're going to have massive moments of radical awakening and change in the Aries part of our lives, guys. And Saturn, when it gets there, is going to want to very much structure and make us more disciplined in this transition, in this moment where we are going to very much need to change. So it's not whether we want to change or not. This is a force of change. This is like, no, whether you like it or not, you are awakening to this reality in the Aries part of your life. You are awakening to the Chiron wound, potentially. Okay, I would say definitely. So the Chiron wound in all of our lives, in the Aries part of our life, I think we all need to get brave. We all need to be more independent, and we need to very much believe in ourselves there. Because I think that Chiron wound took a little bit away from self-belief in that part of our life. Okay, because Aries is about the self. It's about the identity. You know, it's about, what do I want to do here? How can I do something that not only fulfills myself, but of course, whatever this house topic is all about. The Chiron wound has very much been, you know, hurting us and causing suffering in some way there. So this eclipse ushering in a massive new age, a massive new awakening for you to now start taking action and to have clear vision, okay? And to start really working on the Aries part of your life, you know, to create that vision board if you need to, you know, to very much organize and plan. So when Saturn gets in there, there's a structure starting to form, something solid that can start taking shape, okay? And let's not forget about the retrogrades. And I don't want to go, you know, I don't want to make this video too long, but these retrogrades, guys, what is going on with the Mercury retrograde too? Okay, what have you been in review of? What has been going wrong? What challenges has been hitting your psyche? What decisions are you in the middle of? What are you trying to figure out? Because I think this all plays in to this eclipse story, okay, because Mercury is still at 0 degrees. This eclipse is happening at 9 degrees, but also, you know, there's a lot that we are reviewing, especially in the Venus retrograde too, guys. So there's a lot that we have been trying to understand more deeply about ourselves, you know, our feelings with Venus, of course, things that bring us pleasure in our life. We've been very much trying to organize stuff there in our daily life. So reflect on the retrogrades too when it comes to this Aryan transition and awakening. So I really think that this is a very powerful moment in time, guys. And like I said in the very beginning of this video, the last couple of eclipses in Aries have all been solar eclipses. And I may do a video for Patreon, by the way, in the next couple of days that very much talk about the prior solar eclipses in Aries and talking about those decans, okay? Because I believe they do paint a picture to where we are now, okay? And now it is time to take action because the last decan of Aries is ruled by Venus. The second ruled by the Sun, which is where last year's eclipse took place. But this year, this is all about Mars territory. This is aggressive. This is tower card energy. This is awakenings, like I've been saying 1,000 times in this video. This is awakening to truth in that part of our life. This is awakening to, I need to change something. This is an awakening to, oh my God, I need to believe in something here, or I won't be able to, I don't know, really handle what is to come in this part of my life. Because I'm not saying all of us have it easy, but I'm saying Neptune is going to want you to come in, and Neptune's going to come in and want you to get spiritual. It's going to want you to get in touch with a deeper part of yourself so you could make the right decisions moving forward in your life. In the Aries part of your life, most importantly. So you can embrace maybe a mystic in you. Okay, maybe we all need to get a little bit mystical there. We need to get in touch with the mystical heart. So that being said, my friends, I think that's all I have for you for this video. Once again, if you did enjoy this conversation today, then please consider liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel if you are new and stay to the end. And yeah, my friends, I hope you have a profound and revealing solar eclipse, and I'll see you in the next video.